Hi, I'm Toni.
Hi, I'm Sonya. Welcome to our podcast, Being a Woman, where we talk about the three phases of womanhood: the maiden, the mother, and the wise woman, and everything in between.
Join us each week as we share our own stories and adventures, as well as our beautiful guests and interviews.
So, no matter where you are in your journey of being a woman, we look forward to sharing this space with you each week.
Hi, I'm Toni.
Hi, I'm Sonya, and welcome to this week's podcast. And this week's topic is self-love.
Yay, we all need that.
We all do need that. And I just wanted to read, I've got my little book here, and loving on thyself. Falling in love with self is not just mental selfishness, but rather heartfelt empowerment. I love that because I think a lot of women feel like if I love myself, if I do things for myself, then I'm selfish. Rather than feeling empowered in that space, they're feeling selfish.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of women don't choose self-love. Because they feel like they're being selfish.
And I think society over the years has put that on us, that, oh yes, you go and sort yourself out and you go and do this and you go and do that. You should be at home, cooking, or you should be at home looking after the kids, or you should be at home doing all these things. And so you can then burn out.
That's right. We don't want to burn out.
We don't want to burn out.
Self-love is all about self-care.
Yes.
All right, really, and prioritizing ourselves. So it starts with the action is self-care. And the thought is, I need to prioritize myself.
Exactly. And I deserve this.
Yeah.
I think that's another big thing where a lot of women don't think they deserve that time because they've got so much on their plate. They're working, they're mothers, they're wives, they're sisters, they're, daughters, they've got to look after their parents. There's all sorts of reasons why. I think people are getting better at it over the past few years than before, especially probably through COVID, because everybody was at home and they were doing things, and people have decided that actually that was really good. I enjoyed having some of that time to myself where I'm not having to be here and everywhere, and they wanted to have a little bit more of that. But I think self-love is one of those areas where we need to keep being reminded, because even the best of us, even those of us who teach this, we can forget. We can forget that we haven't had any self-love, and we can lose ourselves back in old patterns of being people pleasers and getting busy and not prioritizing ourselves, thinking that we haven't got time.
It's funny, that's happened to me a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I came down with the flu and I was like 2 weeks in bed, and I realized after having that time out that I really, really needed that I was not prioritizing myself. And even for me who works with women with burnout and anxiety, right, I'm like, this passionate, driven entrepreneur. And I love my work and I love my business and I love helping people. And so I would find myself at the computer, keeping on going when I should have been taking time out. And so when I was at home, it was 2 weeks I was in bed, I was really sick. But then we went away for school holidays, and in that week I was like, in the second week I was like, my mind was just like, don't even want to look at a computer or a screen on my phone, right? I actually felt physically ill when I was looking at the screen or the computer, and I just didn't want to. And I was like, oh, that's a big signal.
Yes.
That's a big message from the body.
Absolutely.
It's like, Toni, you need a break.
You need some time out.
I do.
Time out for you.
So then I was like, what can I do with myself? Right? What did I used to do with my life before I had a screen?
Yeah.
So I got the guitar out, and then it needed a new string. Anyway, we got that sorted. And I was playing the guitar. It was so beautiful. I hadn't played in years and years. It was so nice. And I started reading a book. Like,
What is this thing called a book? Although I do tend to read myself, I've gotten back into it again, and I like to get lost in the book, lost in the fantasy of the book, of whatever's happening. And we all do read our self-help books and our motivational books, but then sometimes it's good to read a bit of fiction and just be taken away somewhere where we don't have to think about, analyzing and doing all that stuff as well. It's not work, it's it's pleasure. It's pleasure. And pleasure is part of self-love too. Like,
absolutely.
what are those things that you do that are pleasurable? And we were talking about this just before we recorded this episode, that I've actually been cooking in my job at the moment, with my NDIS clients, and I've been creating meals, and now I'm doing snacks. And it's been so much fun just creating all of these wonderful foods. Part of the feminine, of course, is creation, and just creating. And I was saying earlier that, which I was never the cook. My mother was always the Susie homemaker. She loved to cook. That was her job. Actually, her job. She was a cook, and I was too busy having, like a career and working a business and doing all those things. And I would still cook, but I wouldn't necessarily cook for pleasure. It was just cooking because we had to eat. Where now I'm cooking for pleasure because I'm doing this for someone else, but I'm also, there's no sort of pressure on me in a sense. I have a pretty open rein as to what I create for them. And today I was making all these snacks, and it actually was effortless today, which is a big word for me, effortless, because not much is usually effortless. But it was just that flow of having the music on and just creating. And, I had the computer there just, with all the things that we were going to cook, and it was just so beautiful. And so really today, even though I was technically working, today was almost a bit of self-love, pleasure side of things as well, because it was making me happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other thing that women get confused is, well, isn't self-love me just going, getting a massage or getting my nails done, or going in the bath? But it's actually not. It's whatever is going to make you happy, whatever's going to give you pleasure, whatever's going to make you happy and make you feel alive, because this is the actual reason why we do self-love, is because when we don't, we feel deflated and we feel exhausted, frustrated, annoyed, resentful, all of those things.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Yes.
Guilty's a big one.
Yes. And because we want to feel good.
Yes, we do. We want to feel good. Why shouldn't we feel good? We're here to enjoy life.
Yeah. So I know you're saying it's not just a massager, it's not just this, but it's like part mindset, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Part mindset and it's part action, like taking that action then. Okay, so now I know that I'm worthy and I'm deserving of some time and some space and some pleasure and some joy. What am I going to do now? All right, rather than just sitting there and scrolling or watching Netflix or, I don't know, or watching the kids play sport.
or even busying yourself around the house in feeling like, because let's be real, like you could spend 24 hours a day, every day, just doing stuff in the house.
Yeah,
cleaning, doing the spring cleaning, doing the washing, doing the ironing. If you iron, I used to iron a lot. I don't iron anymore. But you could spend all this time doing all of this stuff, which for some people that brings them joy, and I understand that. I mean, I like it when I've cleaned out a cupboard and it's all organised and it's like, it's so good. I keep going back to have a look. That gives me joy, but I really don't want to do that 24/7 every day. I want to do more enjoyable things, And I think the areas that women need to remember is just let go of that guilt. Because that's the big thing, is let go of that guilt in thinking that you're not deserving of some time. And that could be the way you've been programmed. It could be that your mother was somebody who was, you know, whether they were the worker or they worked in the home or they did both, and they didn't really have a lot of time for themselves. So, you know, in our grandparents' age especially, they didn't really have self-love. I mean, imagine if someone said to your grandmother, how about a bit of self-love? She's like, what the hell self-love? I don't have time for that. You know, just need to get in and get this done and get that done. And it's this generational conditioning of thinking that you're a woman, so that means you just work all the time. If you're not working outside of the house, you're working in the house, or you're working with the kids, or you're doing stuff for your husband or partner or whatever it is. And that you don't really have time to have time for yourself, you know, and if you do, you're made to feel guilty about it. And I can remember when my kids were little and we'd be at school and I'd see these mums drop their kids off to school and they're like in gym gear and they were going off to the gym and then they were going out for lunch later. And then I used to be judgmental. I used to think, how the hell do you get time for all of that? Oh, aren't you so lucky? Or like, you can't be doing stuff for your family then. Because if you've got all that time for you, who's doing this stuff for your family? Or they're not getting anything or whatever. And I used to be very judgy when my kids were really little because I didn't have time for that. I didn't have time to be going to the gym and going out for lunch and doing all that stuff because I was too busy. I was too busy keeping busy. I was too busy keeping busy. And, you know, and I think about that now. And it wasn't until, and we've talked about this in episode 1 with my story, after I left my husband, that I actually started really focusing on my self-love because I had to, because I didn't know who I was anymore. And I think that, you know, the earlier you can jump into realizing that, you know, and it doesn't matter which phase you're in. If you're in the maiden phase or you're in actually, I think maidens nowadays actually have self-love a bit down packed. They do. They do. Sort of come from that. And again, this is not judgy, but they're a little bit more entitled and they actually put themselves first. They really put themselves first and go, oh no, I can't do that. I've got to do this. Yeah. I'm going to yoga tonight, or I'm going to wash my hair tonight, or whatever it is.
And we've raised them like that, so that's great.
Yes. We have, because we were too busy to focus on ourselves. But yes, it's that they've got that pretty much down pat. So most maidens, if you're in the maiden phase, you're probably not doing too bad with the self-love. Although you might be doing things for yourself, but are you mentally understanding that there is no guilt or shame to be had around that?
Yeah, I think that's a really big topic because of social media.
Absolutely.
You know, when we were young, it was magazines.
Yes.
And celebrities was a big thing.
Yes.
But these days, social media, and it's so available. So in your face with a phone and our screens. They have laptops for school now, right? So they've always had a screen, and it's so much like comparison. Yes. When they're looking at other people's lives, and even whether the comparison is good or bad, like even if they're looking at someone's life, right, and you think, oh, that looks so good, it's almost this part of you that kind of drops in deflation, like, oh, my life is not that good, you know, why can't I have that? I don't have that. And so a bit of your energy drops, right, when you see that. Just be aware of that. Just notice like how that energy drops in you. And then the other part is like when we see people having a bad time or a bad life, like in the news or whatever else, there's a part of us that also can feel bad, right? That is a part of our world, and this suffering or this bad experience, we are what's the word?
I think what happens is we take it on board as well.
Yeah, that's right.
We look at it, we see it, we feel it, especially if you're an empath, and we know all about that.
Yeah.
you've got to protect that energy and realize that you are deserving, even if there are bad things going on externally. You can have empathy and feel bad for that, but don't set up camp there in a way, because your self-love will drop even more, because you'll think, oh, I shouldn't do this because this person is having a bad time.
Yeah. I remember one of the things that my parents used to say when we were eating our dinner. You know, and if you don't eat all your food, you know, there's starving children in the world.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
And I remember my dad having the news on during
Talk about guilt and shame.
dinner time. And I just couldn't handle it. It was so negative and so disturbing. And I'd be like, just turn it off. And, you know, they wouldn't. But I really didn't like it.
No. And there's that, again, that part of, you know, trauma from being brought up. And if you start to really focus on yourself and do those things for yourself, you're almost like, oh, do you think you're better than us? You know, who are you to do all this stuff? Who are you to do this stuff for yourself? You think you're better than us? You know, you need to be down here, and you need to be feeling all the guilt and the shame and doing all this stuff, rather than saying, you know what, I'm actually going to feel a lot lighter about myself. I'm not going to drag all that energy in myself, because self-love and self-care is not just about the physical, it's also about the mental. It's like what we've just been talking about. So it's thinking about, what are you seeing? Like, what are you seeing with your eyes? What are you listening to? And then what are you speaking? And then what are you feeling? Really, so it really is those five senses when you think about it.
Yeah.
But what are you then feeling into that? So if you're watching something, like you were saying, the news, if you're watching that, you're seeing it, you're hearing it, everybody's talking about it, you might be judging about it, you know, people are talking in the household about it, and then you start to feel that. And so that's not going to lift you and make you feel good about yourself, or make you feel like, oh, well, you know, this disaster's just happened, but, you know, I might just go and take myself off and have a nice bath and put some candles on and just listen to some meditation. But actually, that's something that you probably should do in that moment, just so that you can redirect your energy away from being stuck in that space of just sitting and thinking and talking about the negative, because it goes back to that good old little mantra that we say, that you can't control what anybody else thinks, says, or does. So unfortunately, we can't change what goes on externally around us. If, you know, if there's people breaking into houses, we can feel bad and we can have empathy for those people, and we can pray that that's not going to be us. But we can't change that that's what's going on right now. You know, we're not.
That's not our responsibility.
No. And that's a really, and as soon as you said that, I just went, ooh. I felt that, because we feel like it is our responsibility. We feel like it is our responsibility to go and fix everybody, to go and help everybody, to go and change everything. But there's only so much that you can do. And, you know, we all do our part. We're doing our part right now, doing these videos for you. We're doing a podcast where we've got this series where we want to talk about stuff so we can help other women and share our stories and share information. So we're doing something to help people, but we can't help every single person in the world and fix every single problem.
Yeah. So when we look at the news, and if something comes up, you can say to yourself, that's not my responsibility and that's not my problem right now.
Yes.
So hopefully that helps, or choose your own little mantra or affirmation to say to yourself that will help you let go of that negative image or negative thought or whatever it is that you've heard. Yeah.
So I just have a little definition of self-love, because I know this a lot of the times. I'm just reading from my Warrior Woman booklet here, because self-love is one of the actual modules that we do in Warrior to Warrior Woman. So it's a big thing, the self-love, and it's this constant reminding.
Because I just want to say the Warrior Woman is Sonia's amazing program. that she runs, like the day workshop, one-on-one journey or retreats. The warrior to warrior.
Yes, so that's stop worrying and become an empowered warrior within yourself. And next year, there is some beautiful stuff coming within this space. There'll definitely be a retreat next year, a 2-day retreat to go through all this. So there are 5 modules, and one of the most prominent module in this is self-love, because without that, you've got nothing else. So they're all very potent modules, but without this one, nothing makes sense really, because really all we need is love, as the Beatles said. But the definition of self-love is regard for your own well-being and happiness. Now, I'm going to say that again, because sometimes that just needs to get in, that the self-love is regard for your own well-being and happiness, your own. So I can't make you happy. This is a real thing in a relationship. This is a big thing.
Starting with the relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And I like the word responsibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I think we all get caught up in this thinking that it's our responsibility to make everyone else around us happy. And then we then lean on our partner to make us happy as well. So this creates lots of issues. And we need to, and I always say this, doesn't matter what problem you have, it doesn't matter what issues out there, whether it's to do with school or work or a relationship or a friendship or your kids are getting on your wick or whatever it is, I'll guarantee you that if you come back to the source, to the self-love, come back to the heart space, everything can be solved by coming back there. You could tell me any issue that you have right now, and I will bring you right back to the heart. It always comes back to the heart. It's just how it is. So self-love means to have a high regard for your own well-being and happiness. It also means taking care of your own needs and not sacrificing your well-being to please others. Mm-hmm. How many times do we let go of our well-being, whether that be, I didn't get to the gym this morning because my kid slept in and I needed to drag him out of bed, and then I needed to make his lunch because he didn't do it the night before, and la, 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 or my partner or husband, whatever, needed to drop his car off, so then that cut into my gym time. Now, I understand that life gets busy and chaotic and it changes, but if your self-love is your highest priority, it might mean that if there is going to be something that's going to take up your time the next day, like we're going to drop the car off, or my son's got an early something or other before school or whatever it is, or you've got an early meeting before work, maybe you just have to get up extra half an hour earlier. And most people go, oh, but I'm sacrificing my sleep. But if you're fully aware, this is where the awareness comes in. If you're fully aware, go to bed half an hour earlier. To then get that extra half an hour, get up half an hour earlier and make yourself the priority. Because when you make yourself the priority in that moment, you're going to feel really good about yourself. Because what's going to happen is you're going to get up and you're not going to get your time, and then you're going to have to do everything for everybody else, and you're going to be pissed off for the whole day because you did your thing for yourself.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
And, you know, when we move our body,
yes,
it's so important for our self-care, isn't it? Like, you know, we can say, I know that it's important to move our body, but it really is. It helps release energy, like built up energy from our body, tension, and it also helps to cultivate positive energy. As well as the fact that we get that huge dopamine hit as well when we move our body, but it's also like creating this long-term cultivation of positive energy in your body.
Absolutely. And like you were saying, you were sick. Toni was sick and I had a fall and I smashed my shoulder. And so I wasn't able to get up and do my morning routine of my morning stretch yoga sessions and anything. And I tell you, it has driven me batty, but this morning I got up and I did. I can't do it to the full extent still because I'm still recovering. The tear is still healing. but I was able to get up and do some work, and then I found some little Tai Chi thingy on the internet, and so I did that, which was another level of stretching and breathing into my body as well.
Beautiful.
And as I said today, I had this beautiful creative day where I felt very joyful and pleasurable in the cooking and became creative. So yeah. Self-love also means, this is a big one. This is a big one. Not settling for less than you deserve. How often are we settling for things in our life that we deserve more? Whether that's in a relationship, in your job, in a friendship, or, whatever it is, whatever is happening in your life, self-love is even knowing your worth, right? I mean, worthiness is another whole module for us, but knowing your worth, if you're going to a job every day and you're being paid a minimum wage, but you're staying back, you're doing extras, you take work home with you, mentally you're taking work home with you, you're going to feel devalued. And when you feel devalued, you're not going to have self-love. So there's another key area. You can see that every area in your life, self-love comes into everything, absolutely everything. So knowing what you deserve, and I'm not saying in an egotistical way, but I mean in a real raw and real, basically, knowing that you do deserve better than that. And usually you know that if your friends are telling you, you deserve more than that. Yeah. That job is no good for you, or that relationship isn't any good for you, or whatever it is. You actually deserve more. You deserve more respect. You deserve more attention. You deserve more of everything. But you also deserve that from yourself. And what are you settling for in yourself? Are you being slack with yourself? Are you not getting up early and doing something? Are you pushing all your things aside? Again, and it comes that not deserving, that feeling of, I don't deserve a better house to live in, or I don't deserve a better job, or I don't deserve a better relationship, or I don't deserve whatever it is. It's that thinking again in your thoughts, what do you deserve? And the thing is that you deserve everything.
So that's like a mindset of, I'm not good enough. And self-love is all about loving on yourself so much that you are good enough. So it's that mindset work.
Yes.
And this is the real work, guys. This is like the work that you need to say this stuff over and over and over again to yourself. Like, I am deserving, I am worthy, I am good enough.
Yes.
And not just saying it to yourself, but really allowing yourself to feel it as well. And what's going to give you that feeling is
becoming the warrior.
It's allowing yourself to receive.
Yes.
To receive that love from yourself. And that is a really, really powerful practice that you can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even the best of us who do this and have done this for a long time, if we get distracted, you can slip. You can.
So many distractions.
There are so many distractions in the world, and we have to keep coming back and reminding us. This is what the beauty of your tribe, your friendship group, your soul sisters. This is the beauty about them, because when you have people around you who are aligned but are also going to speak their truth, again, another self-love, is speaking their truth, they're going to call you out on that. If you're not being worthy of yourself, they're going to call you out, and you might push it away and say, no, I'm not that good. I'm not that good. But sometimes you need to listen and understand when people around you are telling you that you actually are worthy. You are worth more. You do deserve more. Yeah.
That's a part of receiving. And so when we receive, when we're in a beautiful place to receive, it means we're feeling open. And so we can have walls up around our heart. from where we've been hurt. And every time in our lives when we've been hurt, we can like make that wall a little bit higher, or that fence a little bit wider, or that armor, sorry, it's a good word, isn't it? And a little bit harder.
Absolutely.
Harder, higher, wider,
thicker.
Right? We can make that armor, that wall, that protective energy around our heart really hard. And so it can take us a lot of work to dig really deep down and find that beautiful, loving energy that we have in our heart.
Exactly. Absolutely. And that's where you get right into that core energy. Self-love is also something that is unique to each person, because everybody has different tastes and pleasures. And for some people, I mean, for me, I'm a big bath person. I love a bath. I would bath.
I hate the bath.
She hates the bath, and she's got the most amazing bath.
I do.
And I've got the smallest of baths, and I make do. But she's got this amazing bath, and she goes, I hate baths. I was like,
I love the idea of it. And I would love that if I could sit in it, but it just gets too hot. And then I get uncomfortable, and I'm like, ah!
Maybe that's something that you need to look into, the stillness.
Yes.
And not make it as hot.
Yes, yeah.
Self-love means how we love ourselves, and why does that matter? And I think we've already sort of tapped into that already, it is really important that you love yourself first. You have to be your priority above everything and everybody else. And I know there's some mothers out there that are getting really triggered with that right now, because that used to be me. But one of the things that I learned from experience was that if I wasn't showing up for me, I wasn't showing up for anybody. Because even though you think you're showing up because you're there in person, you're not actually showing up as the best version of yourself, because you're feeling frustrated, distracted, resentful, guilty, all of those things that we just talked about, because you're not getting that self-love. You're just burning out all the time. So you're showing up as the ratty mum, the yelling mum, the depressed mum, the busy mum, haven't got time for anything. And so you're rushing everything to try and fit everything in. But if you just allowed yourself a little bit of time to come back to yourself, that's where you can realign yourself.
Fill your cup.
And fill that cup. That's right. How many of you walk around and you feel like you're suffocating?
You're empty or drained.
Yes. And if you really sit with yourself, even just now, and you can sit with yourself and actually feel into your body right now and ask yourself, do you feel full or do you feel empty? And if you were to just take that breath in, does it come easily, or does it feel like you're choking and suffocating? Because, we talk about this, like throughout a lot of areas where most people are walking around unconscious, not just energetically, but also physically, because they're not breathing properly. They don't stand up straight. They're not breathing and filling their lungs full of air. And it's the same thing like when you get on the plane and they say, if we go down, put your mask on first. So fill your lungs up first before you help someone else. Unfortunately, especially as women, we tend to help everybody first, and we just allow ourselves to just go on the 10% of extra oxygen that we have left. We just try to make sure that we're just sucking in that last little bit. And
it's just going to lead to no good. It's going to lead to burnout, exhaustion.
And suffocation.
Anger. Right.
Exactly. So just coming back and taking a breath, even taking a breath is part of self-love, really, because your breath is your life force, and without it, you're not here anymore. So if you can't appreciate your own breath, if you haven't got enough time to just appreciate the fact of saying, just sit quietly for 5 minutes and take in 10 deep breaths and 10 deep breaths out. If you can't even do that for yourself, then you're in some trouble and we need to help you.
Yes.
We need to help you.
Oh, it's so true. Like the breath is the number one tool
Absolutely.
for calming your nervous system and for filling that energy back up. And it is so powerful. So I'm so glad you brought that up. This is the solution.
Yes.
It's simply to take time out to breathe. If nothing else, give yourself, try 1 minute first. You know, try 1 minute of just sitting and deep breathing, just noticing the breath going in and out. And then you can say, oh, that feels really good, actually. I feel better after 1 minute. And you will. And then you can try 5 minutes.
Yes.
Right? Wow. What a huge difference that's going to make to your energy, your nervous system. It's just going to take you down, not 1 notch, but like 5 notches. Right?
And especially in those moments when you're feeling very overwhelmed, you're frustrated, you're on the way to school, you're on the way here, you're on the phone to work or whatever it is, you're trying to plan what's for dinner, maybe your husband's ringing you up asking you where something is or whatever it is. There's always something going on, but if you can just turn that phone off for 5 and just breathe, even if you're just sitting in your car somewhere.
Absolutely.
Just breathe before you do anything. And I know a lot of people say, oh, but I haven't got time for that. But you need to make time, because if you don't make time, you're going to literally suffocate, because you're going to be continually just go, go, go. Your nervous system, like you said, we really need to bring that down. And you will find that 5 minutes or even that minute that you took will gain you 10 minutes.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It'll just gain you that the energy, right? It's what we're talking about.
And clarity.
And the clarity, the mental clarity back. Because when we're in that anxious, that stressed state, that fight or flight, our nervous system isn't functioning, and so we lose our mental clarity. We lose brain capacity. It's not functioning at 100%. So that's why we can get stuck in those negative thought loops, and we can get stuck not being able to make good decisions for ourselves. So we get clarity back just by taking a few deep breaths, 1 minute, but building up to 5 minutes. And even if you're at work and you need to go to the toilet, or just walk around the room for 5, just breathing, just focusing on your breath. It's what we call the walking meditation. It's so powerful, just taking those 5 minute breaks. And in the old days, people used to call that smoko, right?
Yes,
you could call that your smoko.
Yes, or the smokers that would stand outside. Now they are definitely taking away their oxygen, but they would stand outside for 5 minutes and have a smoke. But so you could do the same kind of thing without the smoke. Of course, you just use your breath. You're bringing your breath in. So that's really, really important. Means that you accept yourself. This is a big one. Accept yourself fully. Treat yourself with kindness and respect. I laugh at that because in series 1, episode 1, we talked about my story. I talked about I've always been very hard on myself, and there's a sergeant major that is in my head telling me, drill sergeant. So it's about having kindness and respect, and nurture your growth and well-being. So it means that even if you're not, especially as we come into these menopausal years, and we've talked about this in other episodes, is the weight gain. Is that weight gain, and then you hate on yourself because you're carrying extra weight and you don't feel as good and your joints hurt and you're not as flexible as you were, or you haven't got enough energy as you had. But if you can love on yourself, even in that space, you will be able to overcome all of those negative thoughts and emotions.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you this from experience. It's something that I've been traveling through myself this whole year, of just sergeant major, the talking, the not feeling good, because this has been my menopausal maze this year. And again, I've had to come back to the heart space, come back to the self-love and going, I'm loving all of me right now. Even if I'm carrying this extra weight right now, because when you hate on yourself, you're only going to hold on to it even longer because your body isn't going to want to let it go, because neurologically it thinks, I need this to stay safe. I need this extra weight to stay safe. I need this extra weight to hide. But if you can love on yourself and go, I love me for all of me, I know it sounds really weird, but there's this level of, oh, I don't need that now.
Yeah.
I don't need that to feel safe.
And it has nothing more beautiful and sexy than a confident woman.
Yeah.
Right? A woman who absolutely loves herself and owns her body and really lives in her body confidently. I don't know. You all know what I'm talking about. We're not sitting here like this. We're like,
That's right.
the queen, baby.
You are the queen and you have a crown. And I just want to drop something in for you. I know that there's a lot of body shaming, and we all do body shaming. And one of the adventures, I'll call it my adventure, that I've had later in life is venturing down to Maslin Beach and really overcoming that fear of being naked, and not from a sexual point of view, but from a freedom point of view. And it's actually one of my most favorite places now, because there's this whole level of feeling free, because no one is actually judging you in that space. I mean, you would be judged more on the street with whatever you're wearing than you would be when you're completely naked in a space where everybody else is naked on the beach. But when you talked about confident woman, there was a time when I was down the beach with my partner and we were just sunbaking, and then there was this woman that was coming out of the beach. Now, I don't normally take a lot of notice of people because, it's not really a place where you just, stare at everybody. But there was some energy about this woman as she came out the water. She was a bigger woman. She definitely had extra weight on, but the confidence that she had in herself coming out of that water, her energy was just like vibrating. And I was just like, wow, you go, girlfriend. You go, queen. You go, queen. And it was that real queen energy, because she was like, I don't give a stuff what anybody thinks. I don't care that I am bigger. I don't care. She just strutted herself up there with this level of confidence, and I was in awe. I really was in awe. It wasn't
I love
body,
that.
it was this
energy
that she had. And I was, because I've struggled. I have struggled in that space. And I just thought, yeah, get me some of that.
Yeah.
Get me some of that confident energy. It doesn't really matter. We're all human. We all have a body. So if you're not happy with your body, and it doesn't matter whether you're bigger or smaller, because I know people who are really thin that aren't happy, try to really feel into the self-love of yourself within the body that you have right now. Even if it's not where you want it to be, but love what you have right now.
Yeah.
Love every part of what you have right now and feel that confidence in your body, and walk with your shoulders back and hold your head high and feel that, just feel that confidence in yourself, and just, just coming in and just being like, yep, I am good. I am all good. And you'll be surprised at, even just us doing that right now, I'm just like, just feeling into that for yourself. And I know that sometimes I fall out of that and I fall into but I've got to give myself a little bit of a kick and then get back to that and just embrace yourself, because you've only got so much time here. And if we're going to sit around worrying for 5 years because, you put on a bit of weight, I'm not saying accept everything. I'm saying if you're doing your best, if you're trying to eat well, if you're doing a walking, if you're doing something, don't beat yourself up, especially in these menopause years. Don't beat yourself up thinking that you have to look like Elle Macpherson in menopause, because it just
No one looks like Elle except Elle.
No, that's right. And she's probably not even happy with herself now because she's in menopause,
right.
but
So I would love to know, so what I tell myself in those moments, and I would love to know what you think at the moment, but what I tell myself in those moments where I'm hating on my body is like, when I'm 90, right, I'm going to look back at this me at 48. I'm going to go, mate, you were rocking it. Look at you. You were just gorgeous. And so, I think, okay, when I'm 90, I'm just going to think this was silly. Why was I even worrying about that? Because I look great, and I should be really grateful for my beautiful body right now. So what do you say to yourself, do you know?
It's interesting because I remember listening to this. I can't remember his name. I think was it Ollie Wood? His name was Ollie, definitely. He's a personal trainer, and his mother was a marathon runner. And it's interesting because that's exactly what he says. He said, don't, like, especially in these menopausal years, don't feel like you're going to kill yourself, literally, working out, eating, being so strict with yourself, to think you're going to get yourself back at 30. He said, what you want to do is you want to think about, what do I want to look like when I'm 70? A little bit like you're saying, when I'm 70, I'm going to look back. But I'm saying from now, what do I want 70 to look like? Because it can look very different. One picture is a 70-year-old person, man or woman, on a walking frame. Or there's a 70-year-old person climbing Mount Lofty, right? And I've met them. When I'm climbing Mount Lofty, I've actually met them older than 70, and I'm like,
my mum.
Holy crap. I'm going, go you. I hope I'm like you. But the thing is, to be that at 70, what do you have to do today?
Yeah.
What do you have to do today to be that 70-year-old? Because whatever you're doing today is going to show up in the future. So if you're like being down on yourself, if you're negative on yourself, if you're not self-loving, if you're just burning yourself out all the time, and then and we all know what happens when we do that. We then eat stuff, we then binge, we then, just totally go off the rails because we don't feel good. So, in that moment, we're looking for a dopamine hit. So, the chocolate or the alcohol or whatever it is gives us that little bit of a boost. And then we feel the guilt because we let ourselves go. So it's this cycle of hating on ourselves instead of self-loving on ourselves. So think about, what is the picture that I want to be in the future?
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I try to think about, what do I want to be when I'm there? Because I can tell you right now, just like that, then you'll be there. It happens so quick. Happens so quick. And we don't want to waste that time in being stuck in that negative self-talk. Yeah. So, and just the last one was, self-love encompasses not only how you treat yourself, but your thoughts and feelings about yourself, which we've talked about. So when you conceptualize self-love, you can try to imagine what you would do for yourself, how you would talk to yourself, and how you would feel about yourself. That reflects love and concern. So I love that, because if you weren't feeling good, my first initial thing would be to come up and hug you and tell you how good you were, let you know that everything is okay, let you know that you're safe, let you know that you're in this safe space and you're held, and, what can I do to help you? Who says that to themselves right now? Are you saying that to yourself? Are you giving yourself that? Or are you bagging on yourself? Because again, like we've said, the self-love is not only the physical, it's the mental. Oh my God, it's so much. It is just so much. It's the thoughts that you have. It's the way you talk to yourself. It's what you listen to. It's what you surround yourself with. It's honoring yourself. And, sometimes we can get caught up in thinking that everyone else around us has to make us feel loved. But actually, the only person who can love you more than anyone else is yourself.
Yeah.
Everything else around you that you get is just the bonus.
Yeah.
But if you don't love on yourself first, you can't fill your cup with everything else externally. You have to fill it from within first.
Yeah.
Mm.
So even one of the things that I'll do sometimes is if I've got sore legs or sore feet and I'm just sitting on a couch at night, like watching something, I will just massage myself. Just really gently, like, maybe it's my hands, my arms, or maybe my calves and my feet. But it's just so nurturing. And I know it sounds funny, I'm self-massage. Like, you can even get the oil out, get the cream out. Honestly, it is so good. Like, I'm not waiting for my partner. I'm not waiting for my kids.
Yes.
I'm not waiting till next week,
Yes.
to get that massage. Like, or next year for some of you. I am taking the responsibility
Yes.
of myself, and I'm doing it now. Okay. If my legs are sore, I'm going to massage them. Okay, so that's just one simple tool that you can do, but also the breathing is just absolutely number one. Number one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I find that especially for women, you might just have to write that into your schedule. If you're running a household, majority of us have a schedule or a whiteboard or a calendar or something that is your to-do list, because you've got 101 things on there. You've got all the kids' sports and this and that. But where's your little section in there to say, whether it's self-massage or it's breathing or whatever it is, just put it in the diary. Make it like an appointment that you've got to do that for yourself every day. And I know it gets a bit hard because then you go, oh, it's just another thing that I've got to do. But it's actually the most important thing that you want to do for yourself, because if you don't do that, you're not going to keep up with everything else.
You're not going to fill your cup. It's all about energy at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
It's about filling that cup up. I just want to share a little story about when I was a young mother. Had my second child, my son, and I really wanted to go to this meditation class on a Friday night. And I felt so guilty. I felt so bad for leaving him with my husband for like 2 hours. Like, now it's like as if it's a big deal. But, back then I was like, oh my God, it's my little baby. He was probably like 7 months, 9 months old, like old enough to like know his father who we live with and be comfortable with him. And my husband's like, it's totally fine, absolutely, go, luckily. And I got used to that. Got used to the feeling of being uncomfortable and leaving my baby. And then it felt really good. And going to the meditation class was filling my cup so much. It was amazing. And it actually, luckily, my husband never complained about the baby crying. But then they got used to each other very quickly, Bonding, it's so funny when you think about it now, like those things that really panicked you in the past. And how you just gently like wean myself off of that. But I did, and we did it, and it worked out really well. It meant that he actually became a better sleeper at night.
And I think, and again, this will trigger some of you out there, but again, we say it with love and connection. It's the fact that majority of the time, the stuff that's happening to us, we're actually doing it to ourselves because we're not allowing other people to help us. We're feeling like we've got to do everything and nobody else could do it the way we do it, whether that be the housework, looking after the kids, making dinner, whatever it is. That if you're not doing it, which is a form of almost control, which has almost been put on us from ancestral conditionings of you need to do this. This is, it's almost like, when you go for a job and it's like the job interview and this is your job. This is the task. This is your, all the list of the things that you do in your job, right? You have a job list or whatever they call it. I can't remember now.
Description.
Yeah. So the job description, right? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember getting the job. I don't remember negotiating the pay or the entitlements to that job. But somehow we know the job details because it's been handed down like from ancestry. It was like, here we go. This is your job. And my mother has actually said that to me now sometimes. And I go, when she says, it's all right, because now my children are grown and I have grandchildren now, and my mum is the great grandmother, and my mother's always been the, do everything. And now I hear her saying, well, that's okay because you're the grandmother now, so that's your job. And even stuff that she says, like, that's your job to do that now. I go, hold on, don't give me that job description. Like, I know I'm now choosing my job description. Not that I don't like spending time with my grandchildren doing that stuff, but it's almost like they just sort of like hand it on to you, like, this is your responsibility now. This is how you need to do it. Like, no. No, I'm making my own rules.
Yeah, you get to live however you want. You get to make your own rules in life. Absolutely. And that's the massive part of empowerment, isn't it?
Massive part of speaking your own mind and speaking that, actually, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm not going to be that kind of a mother, or I'm not going to do it the way everybody else has wanted me to do it. I'm actually going to carve time out for myself, and I'm going to look after myself, and I'm going to have self-love, and I'm going to, do whatever, which for that other generation or people that haven't taken this on board, it's foreign and you're weird. But actually, you're not weird. You're actually being selfless, not selfish. You're being selfless, which means you're actually more empowered by looking after yourself first. Then you've got so much more to give. But yeah, as I said, we've been conditioned to think that you just keep giving like the ever-ready battery.
Yeah. So when we have that full cup, when we can fill our own cup, then we feel good and we feel full, and then we can give from this place of overflow.
Yes.
Right? Rather than
scraping the barrel.
Depleting our energy, right? Because that's what it can feel like. If we can keep our cup full at all times and then give from that overflow, that will just feel amazing.
And it is a learnings. It definitely is learning how to do that. It's a technique, and it's learning to remember to always have your cup full, because most of you will probably feel, and some of you might be feeling it right now while you're listening to this, and maybe we're a part of your self-love right now, that you're taking time out, whether you're driving in the car or sitting in the bath or just watching us. You're taking some time out for yourself right now to do something for you. And you'll probably remember a time in your life when you felt like you've scraped the last scrapings of your cup, like off the barrel, to give to someone else.
Yeah.
We've all felt that.
Depleted.
Absolutely. And you're literally about to pass out, but you said yes instead of saying no, and you've got to just scrape up that last little bit of residue just to finish that, and then you're done.
That's a big one, saying no instead of yes, isn't it? Can you practice saying no instead of yes?
Yes. My grandson said no a lot this weekend. No. And my response was, not no now. Totally different reason, but yes. But it is easier that when you can practice that, like you said, to say no instead of saying yes.
I just want to ask you about your, you had a story about being a people pleaser. So that's what we do when we people please, right? We're saying yes to everyone. So then we please everyone, and we feel that external love and validation from them instead of receiving it and giving it to ourselves. So, you had a story about being a people pleaser. Did you want to share that?
I've been a people pleaser most of my life. And I've worked really hard, and I think it stemmed from realizing that my mother's a people pleaser. And so even throughout my marriage, I was a people pleaser and make sure that everybody was taken care of. And I also realized that I was also the people pleaser because my mother was the people pleaser. And then I was living up to that standard.
Yeah, it's a generational pattern.
Like this can go really deep. There's so many tentacles that can go out to all these different things that we talk about, because, there's always layering. There's layer upon layer upon layer, and there's these tentacles that just entwine everything, which is all of those neurological pathways. It's like, an octopus. Sometimes you need to snip them all. But so for me, and what's really interesting is I've done so much work on not being a people pleaser. But when you neglect yourself, which is what I've done this year through menopause, because I've just been so focused in that I noticed I became a people pleaser again. Even this year, I've been a people pleaser. And I've been doing things for everybody else around me and forgetting about myself. And I was like, oh. But what's really interesting is that it doesn't matter. We're still human, even though we teach this. We're still human and we still have emotions, and we don't always have our coaching hat on. We have our emotional cap on, our human hat on, and it can remind us. But the beauty about it is that because we are fully aware, we notice it really quick. We go, oh, wait a minute. This isn't right. I'm people pleasing again. What am I missing? Oh, yes, self-love. I'm missing the self-love. I've got to come back to doing some stuff for myself, which I've done this year as well. I've come on 2 retreats. Of course, I was with Toni on her retreat, helping her with her retreat, and the month before I was on another retreat for myself. So that was a huge part of self-love, and it was almost like the real kickstart to wake me back up again to say, hold on a minute, you need to have that self-love and stop pleasing everybody else. And it's just a remembering. It really is a remembering, and to be able to say no and choose you first. But I think it also comes into, it doesn't just come into all those things. And one of the things that I'm working through at the moment myself is, what is it that you really want? What is it? What is the direction that your life is? What is your soul's purpose? What makes you happy? And what have you stopped doing for yourself?
Yeah.
That you stopped because you were people pleasing. But what are those things? Maybe it's a yoga class. Maybe it's ice bathing. Maybe, which we're coming back to. Maybe it's, going to the movies. Maybe it's getting dressed up for the day. What are all those things that you forgot? And it slides away so fast if you don't keep your eye on the ball. But you'll feel it. You'll feel it in your body when those things start to slide away, because you'll start to feel that disconnection, I think, is a really big thing.
Yeah,
with
the
disconnection. Yes.
And life.
Yes, life will feel like it's overwhelming. You feel disconnected from everything. You don't really enjoy things anymore. Everything's a hassle. And it's because you've let yourself go. You've let yourself step away from those little things that make you happy, and just start by bringing 1 or 2 little things back. Just little things. And at first they will feel weird because you haven't done them for a little while. But if you keep doing them and just adding in something, so that every day you've got a little pocket of time where you're doing something for yourself. And then after a couple of weeks, you'll be like, oh, I actually start to feel a bit different. I'm feeling a little bit stronger about myself. I'm feeling a little bit more empowered with myself. I'm feeling stronger to say, actually, no, I can't do that without feeling the guilt about it.
Yeah. So one of the things that I've been doing recently has been, instead of having my cup of tea and like my little break and like scrolling on my phone, or like that working, like checking my emails, checking my socials, like working kind of stuff, of getting my book.
Yes.
And just going into Fantasyland and reading my book and taking my 10-minute break or 15-minute break, and having my tea. All right, so that's just something really small.
Yes.
A small change like that, but it makes a really big difference to my energy, because the scrolling is just draining and the reading is, nourishing.
Absolutely. Or it might even be, for instance, looking out the window, watching, right now we're looking out the window and it's pretty windy out there, but the trees are blowing, and it actually is quite nice. It's quite nice to feel that, to see that out there. Or it might be that you go outside and put your feet in the ground and just ground and really get connected to grounding your energy to Mother Earth. You know, we walk around with shoes on all day. You might be in an office building, you're at work, wherever you are. When was the last time you just stepped outside and put your feet in the grass? You know, we've actually just got all new lawn out the front, and I've got to tell you, every day I'm out there, just put my feet in the put my feet on the grass, and it's just like, oh, you know, how beautiful. I don't know what the neighbours think, but I don't really care. You know, but it's
like what that does is so powerful, right? It's connecting you back to life. When you're grounding, you're connecting back to nature, and it's not just the beautiful feeling that you get, but it's that as well, but it's also the energy that grounding actually, what it does for you. Like the earth vibrates at 8 hertz, so it brings you back down to neutral, to balance. So it brings your nervous system down to neutral, so that you're just going to feel better. You're going to function better, you're going to feel better, and you're going to feel nourished with that grounding experience as well.
And it's actually going to take you out of your head, and it's going to take you back into the body. Because, you know, if you draw a line across here, you've got the mind body and the body. So when we're too much up in here, it means we're in the crazy stage. We've got the stories going, we've got the thoughts going, we're overthinking, we're doing all of this. Where if we just come back into the body and ground ourselves and maybe take that breath while you're standing there, you know, just come back in, you'll, like we've said before, you'll feel like a different person. Yeah, a lot more quieter and grounding. Yeah, so...
Is there anything else that you want to say about self-love? Or...
look, we could talk about self-love for days and days. There's so much in it, but I think that's pretty much the basis of it. I think it's just remembering that. I think firstly you have to remember that you are number one. You are your highest priority in life. I mean, you came into this world on your own. You're going to go out in this world on your own. You're you. That's it. So honor yourself, make yourself the priority, make yourself number one without the guilt or shame about that. You are the most important person, and no one can love you the way you can love yourself. Make sure you take time out for yourself each and every day. Just take those little snippets of time. Remember to breathe, say no instead of saying yes all the time. It's just those simple little things that you can remember to do that will literally turn a 160 for you. If you're struggling right now, that will turn everything around. And usually it's just the little reminder. One of the other things that I have on my mirror is a little post-it note, and I have a little heart on there, and I say on there, you are loved.
Oh, I love that.
You know, and I think to myself, I should have them all around the house. I don't know whether my partner would like that or
I remember one time you did have like this huge post-it note wall.
And it's down on my side of my mirror now. On my mirror, there's the thing there, because my top love languages are words of affirmation and quality time. And it's really interesting, isn't it? Oh, I just thought about that. Interesting that those are my two top love languages, and that's what I want to receive, right, from my partner. They're not his. He doesn't get on board with that. His self-love, his love language is acts of service. He does lots of acts of service, but it's not my highest one. I want the other one. So again, because we can't expect everybody else to give it to us, we have to give it to ourselves. So I wrote these little notes, these little post-it notes, and those of you that have traveled with me for a while will remember we've talked about this before. And there's different ones, and one says, you are beautiful. You look great today.
Aww.
No, your bum doesn't look big enough. Or whatever it is, isn't it? But, it says, I love your smile. Just little things that you've heard maybe people say about you. and stuff like that. So those are there. So every morning when I get dressed and my mirror's there and, I might look in the mirror to see how I look for the day, you can read one or two of those little messages. So there's the words of affirmations. Now, the quality time, well, that's your self-love, because what are you doing for yourself, as in spending quality time with yourself in the self-love?
It just made me think, oh, no wonder I love self-massage, because my love language is affection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it was actually
on myself.
and it does feel strange at first, but I know I was laying in bed the other day and I was like, because he'd already gotten up and gone for work, and I just went, I don't know what I did, something, and I just happened to, because even if I'm not necessarily with like a friend, but like if I'm with my partner, and I used to do it to my kids, you just rub them, don't you? You rub their back, and I quite like that too, because I'm a very affectionate person too, but you just rub their arm or rub their legs or whatever. And I used to do it with the kids, and then I just do it with my partners now and stuff, unless they don't like it. And then I thought, well, I like that. I like someone to do that to me. And then the other day I just started doing it, and I was like, oh, I like that. That feels good for myself.
So good.
I'm like, I'll just do that. You don't want it. That's fine. I'll just do it for myself.
Yeah, it is beautiful. I even like a little head.
Oh, a head massage is so good.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can all just do that now. But even in the shower, though, when you think about that, even in the shower, when you're washing your hair, instead of spending, hurry, I've got to quickly wash my hair, get this. It's like, just allow yourself that moment just to really just rubbing, like you're at the hairdressing salon when they, get into you with the conditioner. It's like,
so good.
It's so many little areas that you can be just creating self-love and joy and pleasure. Slower.
Yeah.
Exactly. Slowing everything down, just being in the moment, because who's rushing to get to the end here? Like, I know we feel like life is a rush, but remembering that time doesn't really exist. It's a man-made concept to keep us in line, keep us all connected and keep us things. But if you go back to just thinking when the sun rises and then the sun goes down, and within that period of time you just do whatever it is you need to do. Of course, if you have meetings or you have to be somewhere, you're going to have to set an alarm. But if you can try to disconnect a little bit from feeling like you have to rush everything because you've got 10 minutes for this and 10 minutes for that and 10 minutes for that. And realistically, as you get older into the wise woman, you start to realize, because I was like that, I used to rush my kids everywhere. You start to realize that I was really just rushing my life. And now I'm in this wise woman phase. I realize that nothing really is that important.
Yeah.
Nothing is really that important, because it will still be there afterwards, whatever it is, whether it's the washing or the cleaning or even an appointment. Like, yes, you should be punctual and you should be there on time, but hey, if you're having a really bad moment, then reschedule, because, it's not going to get you any, it's not going to, I'm having a brain fog right now. It's not going to give you any more clarity or reward you anymore for rushing. It's probably going to get your speeding ticket. So yeah, just take a moment, just take the breath and take the moment, and just remember that you are number one. And one thing that I always say to most people who have followed me before is that just remember these three things: that you are beautiful, that you are loved, and that you are worth it.
Yeah.
And if you can remember those three things, that's my little mantra that we do. If you can remember those three things every day, write it down, put on a Post-it note. Remember those three things every day. That's your little self-love. Yeah.
Beautiful. I think we're done.
Yes, I think we are. So thank you for joining us again today, and look forward to seeing you next time. with another topic that we can talk about. And we'd love to hear your reviews if you're following us on Spotify or on our Facebook page.
Any comments, reviews would be most welcome.
Absolutely. And remember to subscribe, because the more people that subscribe, the more people are going to be able to see this as well on the Spotify.
And topic ideas too.
Yeah, topic ideas on the Facebook page. Be fabulous. So Being a Woman podcast is our Facebook page. And of course, Being a Woman on Spotify which is probably where you're listening to this now. Share it with your friends. Let's share in the love.
Beautiful. Thanks
Thank
for joining
you.
us. Bye.